start recording, we can go ahead. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight to learn about the wonderful Tower Garden. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Shannon. I'm accompanied with a few friends tonight. I have Barb with me, Pam, Ellen, and Erin, and we are so excited to show you what we are growing and why we love the Tower Garden so much. So the Tower Garden is a vertical growing system. It uses aeroponic technology, which is super cool. So it's a combination of water and air for ultimate growing experience for the roots and for the plants. Because it's vertically grown, it uses only 10% of the space that conventional growing uses. It also is able to recycle the water, so it's only using 98% less water than conventional growing, which is super cool. Because the water has really excellent nutrients in it, it's able to grow your plants 3 times faster, and you can produce 3 times more. So it's just a really amazing thing. This truly is the future of growing. So we're so excited to have you here to learn about all of this, and Barb is going to kick us off.
Oh, yes.
I think you're muted, Barb.
Mute. No. Can you hear me now? I shut off my computer because it was giving feedback, so now I'm just on my phone. I'm Barb, and I live in rural Alberta, just outside of Stettler. I've had a Tower Garden Flex for about 5 years. I have the trolley underneath it. I'll show you in a little bit. The extension, so I have an extra 8 holes. The Tower Flex comes with 20 holes, but I have the extension to it, so I have 8 more holes. I'm just going to show you, flip my camera around here and show you some of the products that it comes with. It comes with the tonic A and tonic B to put into the water, the solution. It comes with a drain hose. It comes with a manual, because mine is older. I don't even know if the new ones come with this anymore. I think almost everything is online, and there is lots of support online. There's Facebook groups, there's a YouTube channel. There's your Juice Plus rep that you buy a Tower Garden from. It comes with a variety of seeds, and of course you can buy any other seeds you want to plant in it. It comes with the rock wool, which is what you use to put the seeds in. The little baskets that go inside the holes in the Tower Garden. I also purchased, I don't know if you can see this very well here, these little hooks that the rock wool sits in rather than the basket. I learned that at one of the Tower Garden sharing sessions that I attended. It comes with the vermiculite to put in rather than dirt. It comes with a little growing container, kind of works like a little sauna. I don't use that. The first couple times I used my Tower Garden, I did start my seeds in here, but now I just put them into the rock wool and put them right into the tower. It comes with tonic A and tonic B, or sorry, pH minus and pH plus to keep your pH at a certain level, because apparently some people actually check theirs. And it comes with a little kit to be able to check to tell where your pH level is at. I am not a very high maintenance with my Tower Garden. The other day, a friend who's on this call asked me what I keep my pH at. And I said, I don't know. I don't ever check it. And so out of curiosity, I checked it and it was at a 6. And I had to actually open up my little kit to check the level because I had never actually opened to see where it's at. So I've got some Swiss chard going. This is the plant I cut off the other night that we used it all. Some marigold flowers are just starting to, I don't know if you can see the little yellow blooms there. These little purple ones just bloomed yesterday. And then I have all sorts of colorful, different shades of these kind of flowers. This lettuce is a really pretty color. There's this brown and then it goes to green, all in the same plant. Some sprouts, more lettuce, some basil, different types of lettuce, some new little ones that I just replanted. And this is, so these are the holes that I was talking about. This one here actually has the clip on it where the rock wool's on rather than the little basket. These are the new lights that hang off. They're the LED. I really like them in the wintertime. They really light up the house and it makes it really a nice lighting for the day. So my tower garden is about to the very top with the extension, just over 6 feet, I would say. And then the lights are on top of it. You can see down the tank of it holds 20 gallons of water. And then it's got the wheels underneath so I can move it and it moves quite easily around. I do have some strawberry plants growing on the bottom that I planted back in October, I guess it was. And I am going to pull them out because they haven't really done anything. But apparently it is because they like a certain pH. And I just like to plant things and things either grow or they don't. And so the strawberries aren't growing, so they're getting pulled out. And a few more herbs. What else do I have around the back here? Oh, some cilantro and some mint that's growing, and then some other wildflowers. And the lights are on a timer. They're set, they run about 14 hours a day and they're off for the other. And the pump for the water is on a timer as well. And it runs for about 15 minutes out of every hour. I will now pass it over to Pam and she will share her garden.
Okay, give me the thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, great. So I'm Pam Barg and I'm tuning in from Calgary. And it's great to have so many people on the call tonight. It's really nice to know that there's an interest in indoor growing. So I was raised on a farm in Saskatchewan, so gardening has certainly been in my blood, and I really jumped at the chance to own 2 tower gardens now, which allows me to grow indoors year round. So what I would like to do tonight is just share with you what the difference is between the two. And so let me get us turned around here. Okay, so the Flex that we're looking at right here, I've had it for just over a year now. And some of the differences are, so Barb did mention that the reservoir at the bottom here contains 20 gallons of water. The wheeled dolly is an optional accessory, but highly recommend it because that allows you to move it, turn it, and because it weighs a lot with all that water in. So this one is 30 inches by 30 inches. So if you're considering a tower garden or just want to know the difference, one question that you really have to ask yourself is, how much space do I have? So this is 30 square inches of floor space, a little bit more when you add on the lights to the tower garden. So that's a key factor. I did buy the optional support cage because I knew I wanted to grow tomatoes, and I have some peppers here as well. So definitely I wanted to have the support cage on it. Let me see what else. So like Barb, I did purchase an extension kit for it. So I do have 28 growing ports on this particular, on this tower. So you can see, and Barb sort of mentioned this, I've got the baskets in each of the ports here. So let's just flip over here to my newest purchase, which is referred to as the home model. Now this has a smaller, let me get down here. This has a smaller reservoir. So it's 13 gallons as opposed to the larger 20-gallon one. And what's different with this, and I just have to remove the cap here so I can show you, I hope you can see this. Maybe not, it's pretty dark down there, but it does have this water measure level. And so the bulb at the in the water just goes up and down according to the water level. So it tells me that I have, it's not quite full, but it's about 3/4 the way full. Because the plants are quite small on this tower, it doesn't take up as much water. So I've got, let me see, I have 16 growing ports for the larger varieties of plants. So that's the same as the flex. But what's different here is up on top, the top 2 rows here are smaller growing ports. And this is where I have the small plants. So I've got both mild and spicy microgreens growing in here. So this is really exciting because I put all of these plants on this particular tower on January 14th. So that's 2 weeks from today. And they are doing marvelously. They were seedlings that I had started, but it's just amazing, amazing what they are doing. So the dimension of this home is 24 inches by 24 inches. And so you can see that it's quite a bit smaller than the flex, which was 30 inches square. So again, it has the lights, and I've turned them off just for demonstration purposes here. So I think between the 2 towers, I have probably 6 or 7 different varieties of lettuce growing. I have Swiss chard over here. I have some pak choi up at the top there, lots of kale. And I do want to show you the tomatoes here. Now, I did give it a good prune job because I wanted all the energy to go into the ripening of the tomatoes. So I said we couldn't have tomatoes tonight for dinner because I wanted to show you this, but I will be picking them and probably pulling out this plant because it's been on since July, since mid-July. I have another tomato plant here. It has lots of blooms, and I just self-pollinate with an electric toothbrush, of course. I wanted to show you this pepper that has ripened, and again, I'll be taking that off tomorrow. There's little peppers coming here, more over here. I probably have maybe 8 to 10 more coming. So that's just fun. I mean, people sometimes worry that they don't have a green thumb, but you really don't have to, because, you know, I've made mistakes. I've been gardening, outdoor gardening all my life, and I've made mistakes, but hey, it's just part of learning, and because this pansy, I love this pansy. It just bloomed about 3 or 4 days ago, and I'd saved seeds from my outdoor pots last summer, and it's just so nice. I know we saw some of Barb's flowers that she had on hers, but it's just so nice to have them in the dead of winter when our days are so short and it's cold outside. I think one last point I want to make, the Flex is really designed for both indoor and outdoor growing. So if you're outdoors and you've got good exposure to sunlight, you don't need the grow lights. You do need them though if you move your tower inside. Now, I didn't put mine out last summer, and I don't plan to. Our weather's just so, we get so much wind, lots of hail storms that went through last summer. So I'm just keeping it inside. And actually, by growing all the greens inside last summer, it freed up a lot of space for my in the outdoors for all the root crops, because you can grow almost anything on the towers except for root crops. So I'm just going to check my notes here, make sure I've got everything covered, and I think I do. So let me see if I can switch us around again, or maybe not. Okay. Yeah, so that's about it. I think one last thing, and Barb sort of alluded to it as well, is that it's so nice to walk into my office. I actually spend more time in here than I need to because of the Tower Gardens. But just to come in here, you can smell the vegetation, it's green, the lights are glowing, and I really do appreciate the waterfall effect of the water pump as it pumps the water up the main column in the of the Tower Garden, and the water hits the top and it showers down over the roots, and therefore it's the aeroponic technology. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for listening. And what I want to do now is hand it over to Ellen, because I'm really excited about what she has growing on her Tower Garden.
So I'm Ellen, and I'll show you first of all, if I can figure this out, the seeds that I have planted in my garden. So I started cucumbers here, and they're definitely outdoor cucumbers. So I'm curious what I'm going to get, but we'll find out. And I planted some alfalfa sprouts because I had them in the house. So I thought, what the heck? Why not? I heard people have problems with spinach, but I found this perpetual spinach. So it's like a New Zealand spinach, it's called. I hope you can read that. It doesn't bolt. That's the good part about that spinach. So anyways, I'll take you over to my garden, which I love. I'm a newbie. I started in December, early December, and I've just loved every little bit about it. I planted straight in the tower. I didn't do my startup in the tray, or I started in the tray. I made sure that the rock wool was saturated well, and then after 4 days or so, I transferred the rock wool pods into the holders here. And so this is early December, and I'll show you. I pulled out one pot because I was really curious how it would, what my roots are like. But these are my roots from one plant. And of course, that's all growing inside of your tower, which they end up spilling out on the bottom. So you reach your hand in there through the opening here and then pull the roots out gently. But you know, it's easily done. It's not a big deal. Somebody said you can eat them. I don't think I want to do that, but whatever. I've got some dianthus. I've got tomatoes that I heirloom tomatoes. This one is a genuine. What I'm gonna do with them, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little shoots coming off of the corners of the tomato plants. They'll just grow into a whole new tomato plant on its own, which I don't want because it just gets way too bushy. So I'll prune it as much as I can just to get tomatoes for blooms eventually, and then hopefully lots of tomatoes. I've got the cucumber that I was talking about is here, and there's one little tiny dude in here. So I've got my first one, hopefully it stays on. My first little cucumber. So that's the hole where you can see the roots hanging down. Anyways, lots of lettuces, which we eat every couple of days or so. Here's my spinach and cilantro, which is always good. Basil is going bananas. Yeah, I can't say enough about this tower garden, and yeah, I can see that I could be growing a second one before long. Or more, who knows? So I'll do a little loop around. That's, oh yeah, cilantro, that's the alfalfa sprouts. And I just knocked my plant over. Anywho's, hope you enjoyed my garden, and I'll pass it on to Erin.
There you go. No feedback. Hi, my name is Erin Weinzel. I am a mom of 2 boys, happily married, and I am a teacher. So I am a very busy person. So I am a low maintenance Sally when it comes to my tower garden. Actually, when it came to this past August, we moved out to the lake for the month, and I just left my tower garden run rampant. And I came back in a month, and it was fine. I had more lettuce and some herbs I had on it at the time. So yeah, it just shows you how low maintenance this can be. What I love about the tower garden is, first off, this past spring, summer was my first time to do my own dirt garden, and just the maintenance of it. Picking, like getting my hands dirty, going through the weeds, getting poked by thistle, and all that stuff, and watering at times too. It just was a pain in the butt. I also grew one cauliflower plant, and then when I went to picked it, it was full of those gross green little worms. Blech, it's gross. So I decided that I would grow cauliflower and broccoli in my tower garden, which I am doing great now. And they're growing. I haven't got anything yet, but it just takes some time for them to produce. So that's okay. As I was saying, I've had my garden for now a year. It just came up to a year, and I finally just finished paying off for my tower garden. It took me a while to bite the bullet. Ooh, cauliflowers are edible? I never knew that. Well, I'm gonna try that in the salad now. Thank you. So I decided to bite the bullet because I was tired of all the recalls that we're getting for our lettuce and our cucumbers and everything like that. It was just so frustrating when you couldn't find really good lettuce. And even when it wasn't on recall, just as I said, finding good lettuce because it's picked too early, right? And then it sits on the shelves at the store for who knows how long. So I went and bit the bullet and bought it, and it was really easy payments. 12 months of, I think it's $115 for everything that I have here. So I have the lights, I have just the regular tower garden flex, comes with the pump, the seeds, everything that Barb and Pam had shown. But Barb had shown especially comes with it, with all the tonics and all that. And I couldn't say no to it. So now it's paid off, so I don't have to worry about it. But it has paid off over time for not having to buy lettuce, and now I don't have to buy as many little cherry or grape tomatoes because my plant is actually producing, so it's doing really good that way. And it's soon to have cucumbers, so I'm excited for that. Okay, well, I will give you a tour of my tower. Just give me a second here and do a flip. Flips, there we go. So this is my tower garden right here. Actually, I'm growing green onion, and this one's doing very well. I need to take it out and cut it up and put it in a salad or whatnot. But this is Kincho green onions that I put in here. This is butter lettuce, I do believe. Then I have some gourmet lettuce down here, and I keep going. This is my one strawberry plant that I left in here. I need to do some more spraying. So instead of Barb uses a electric toothbrush, I use a spray because I'm even more low maintenance, and I just spray. So I haven't done it in a couple days, so I'm going to do that now. And then I'll produce little strawberries. I'm not using all my ports right now, as you can see. So I did tape them up just so the light doesn't get in there and cause more like mold and everything like that. I'm just having a lot more green stuff that's taking a lot of space. I do have purple Brussels sprouts that I'm trying to grow right now. Shannon was growing some, so I wanted to grow some Brussels sprouts. So there you go. Here is the broccoli that I have going right now. So it's still trying to grow. So romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is such a pretty lettuce. Like when it starts to get growing and developing, it is so pretty. I'm gonna move right here. My office, my flower tower garden is also in my office. So it's just kind of in a small area. These are my tomatoes. These are red robins. My husband has been picking off of it, so I don't have as many as I did, but they're doing really well right now. They're actually starting to split, so they're definitely time to start picking and eating. My son likes to eat them and put them in his lunch. My kids love to come help and harvest and plant as well. As you see, here's my cucumber. So this is a piccolino cucumber that I got from West Coast Seeds. What I love about this cucumber is that it only produces female cucumbers, so you don't need to fertilize. So I do have a couple that are, or 3 that are growing right now really well. Then I have other ones that are like starting to sprout, as you see, coming around. So I'm kind of just looping itself in itself as we've been going. Lastly, I have basil. Lots of basil, and this is just one plant. Look how big this basil plant leaf is. As big as my hand. But I love it. It smells good. It's so good in like spaghetti and whatnot. I'm not sure if the spray is natural. I know it's a self-pollinator, so I can look into it. I just got it off of Amazon. So that's just the spray. And as for the cucumber, I got it from West Coast Seeds, so it's a piccolino. So definitely look it up because it makes life so much easier, because I don't like always trying to pollinate everything as well. So that is me. I'm going to send it back to Shannon. You guys have a good night and chat at you later.
Thank you, Erin. I love seeing everybody's towers. This is the 3rd call that we've done. So we started in November. So in November, Barb's tower was brand new, fresh. And so it's so amazing to see what it looks like now. And I really just get FOMO seeing all of your towers, and I need more than one. So I'm Shannon. I live in Ucluelet on the west coast of Vancouver Island. We have another Uclusian in the house tonight, so that's cool. So we are quite remote, like maybe not as remote as some people are, but we are only accessible by one road. We are surrounded by water, and our one road in is under construction. It was supposed to be completed in June of 2020, and it's probably another 2 years before it's done. They're doing a lot of dynamite work. They're literally blasting through the mountain to widen our road. So our road is a mess. Certain hours of the day, it's closed. You cannot leave, you cannot get in. And if the dynamite goes a little crazy, our road is closed until they can clear it. So because we are so remote, we are 3 hours from the nearest city. So our food trucks don't come in every day. We have one grocery store. Our trucks come in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I believe Saturdays. That is if they can get in. So I went grocery shopping on the Monday after the holidays, and literally all of the greens were gone. You couldn't buy spinach, you couldn't buy lettuce, you couldn't buy kale. They did not exist. And this is pretty common. In the summertime, we're a tourist town, things go out really quickly. So I'm really grateful to be able to have some control with my food. The girls tonight have mentioned things like the recalls. We don't have access to a lot of organic foods here. So it's really nice to be able to grow what I can at home so that I don't have to rely on our grocery store, and I don't have to rely on eating non-organic foods when I could be growing them myself. So I absolutely love our tower garden. I've been growing for about 1.5 years with a tower. I love to experiment. I'm usually growing all of the weird things, all the things that I can. And I actually pulled my tower apart at the beginning of January, and I replanted it with the most boring tower I've ever grown. So I'll give you a tour. I'll show you what's in there, but it's pretty boring this time around. something that I've learned recently is when a vegetable is picked, it begins to go into a self-preservation mode and it starts to lose nutrients really quickly. Lettuce is a great example. Within 24 hours of being picked, lettuce has lost 40% of its nutrients. So in our situation here, if our trucks are only coming in 3 times a week, they have to come from across Vancouver Island to get here. Things were probably picked a day or 2 in advance before they get here. So by the time I go to the grocery store, I buy them, I let it sit in my fridge for a couple of days. There's not a lot of nutrients left in there. So having the tower garden gives me a bit more control over the nutrients that I'm getting in my life. I also love that it's a soilless growing medium, which means there's no weeding. That's so fantastic. And it also means that there's no soil amendments. So here on the island, I'm so sorry for all of you guys in the prairies. You don't want to hear this, but our weather's been so nice that I actually planted some stuff in the greenhouse today. So 2 weekends ago, I went to the garden center to get a few things to amend our soil. And I thought I was spending $40 on manure. And we came away with $160 of stuff that we didn't even know we needed. So to grow in our soil, we have to spend like up to $300 a year just to keep our soil healthy. Whereas with the tower garden, those bottles of nutrients that come with the tower are going to last you a year. And every time you have to buy them afterwards, they're about $80. So $80 for a year of nutrients is absolutely amazing. I'm incredibly lazy. I think you noticed the trend here. We're all pretty lazy when it comes to growing, and I'm no exception. The vermiculite that Barb showed you at the beginning is a medium you can put in just to help stabilize the roots. I don't use it. I direct seed straight into the rock wall, and then I put them into the tower, and that's it. They just do their thing. So this is the hook system. Barb gave us a quick little overview. So I like to use this when I'm growing larger things like kale. We saw Ellen's roots. That's what kale roots and kale, broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, all those big plants have humongous root systems. So when you use the little pods, the roots often get tangled in there. And then when you go to pull them out, it's kind of eaten and absorbed the pod. And a lot of the times you have to throw them out. So I really like the hooks for the bigger plants. And you can also just pop them out of the tower really easily. I already have roots growing here. And then you can just give them a little haircut and trim them off so that they're not getting tangled everywhere. So that's part of the maintenance that I like to do with that. Oh, I just took some notes as we were going through of things I wanted to mention. When we were talking about spinach, I've had a really hard time growing spinach too, but I recently realized that a lot of spinach seeds are coated, so they need to soak until they germinate. So keeping them really wet, so letting them sit in the water with the rock wool will help them to germinate faster. And sometimes they need to go in the fridge as well. So you can pop them into the fridge for about a week. Those cold temperatures will help to trigger them depending on the brand of spinach. So that's pretty cool. Well, let's take a look. Oh yes, I also have a silencer. So the tower garden water is really lovely and beautiful. It's like a waterfall, but it can get a bit loud depending on what location your tower's in. So if it's in a living room, you're not going to be able to hear your TV very well. You're gonna have to turn up the volume. So we actually invested in a silencer, and now the tower is virtually, there's not very much sound at all when it does go off. You don't have to turn up the TV anymore when it does go off. So that is an option for sure. My tower is now in my office / meditation space. So I love how bright it makes my room. I don't even have the lights on here most times. So here's my babies. I planted these straight into the tower on January the 10th. They were seeds straight into there. And if you plant just directly into the tower, you don't even need to add nutrients in until the plants start to grow. So they can just be in there with normal water running, and then you don't have to worry about the pH or anything at that point. So I have, top row is Swiss chard. Then this row is kale. It's that dark kale that Ellen showed us. I was so jealous by one of you had it last time that I went and ordered some. Romaine lettuce, because I was missing out on from Pam's garden. Then I've got some red lettuce. This is some gourmet lettuce. And then we've got 2 things of arugula and green mustards at the back. And then the bottom row is my fun row, one row reserved for fun. So I have some celery here. This is organic celery that I bought at the grocery store, and I cut the bottom off of it and I stuck it in. And then there's marigolds and wildflowers in here. And then mint and chives. But I also have my little sprouting station. So I have wheatgrass growing here. These are pea shoot sprouts. This one will be wheatgrass. I'm also growing some peppers and basil. So they're just taking the light from the tower. And then, sorry again to you in the prairies, but here are my seedlings that I'll be planting outside in a couple of weeks when they're a bit bigger. So that is my tower. I think I got everything there. So I thank everybody so much for taking some time from your evening tonight to come and learn and hang out with us. We love growing this way so much. We're so passionate about it. So if you have any questions at all, we are here to support you. There's also fantastic Facebook groups. There's one, it's called Tower to Table. Anybody who buys a tower can go into that Facebook group. There's all sorts of support in there. You can get really jealous watching people grow watermelons in there. It's great. So lots and lots of supports. Maintenance for checking pH and stuff. I often don't check my pH until my plants tell me. So there's a lot of things you can do a little bit more of, you can do a little bit less of. So, but we're here to help, and the group is fantastic. If you're interested in learning anything more about the tower, please talk to the person who invited you here tonight. And there's even an option for a discount if you did want to purchase a tower. So that's really awesome. And you can just talk to whoever invited you tonight. So if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat bar or unmute yourselves.
Okay, Shannon, I put the question in the chat box, but how did you plant that celery?
Oh, I just I peeled off all the celery from the side, and then I cut it. So there's just a little tiny base, and then I made it fit so it was the right size. I cut it around and I shoved it in a pot and I put it in the tower.
So it's not in the rock wall, or it is?
It's not in the rock wall.
Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
A pod. Yeah, and does the tower need to be cleaned? So I clean my tower way more than other people do, I think. I like to clean my tower every like 6 to 8 weeks. I take it apart, I give it a little scrub down, check the health of the roots. But I have one friend who cleaned hers, well, she got it, grew for a year, and then cleaned it. So lots of people, I don't know, just what are your schedules, everybody else?
I actually want to clean mine. I did my first clean between like fall and the end of summer. I did my first clean there from having it in January. And then I'll kind of like to do it again when it comes into spring and summer kind of thing. And then start nice and fresh.
So
Star Wars.
So I clean my tower maybe twice a year. In fact, I'm going to take it apart this weekend sometime. There's plants that I want to take off because they've been on for a few months. And while I'm at it, I might just as well clean it. So ideally, for us on the prairies, it's great if you can clean it in the summer time. Then you can just take it outside and wash it down there. But when I did that last July, I actually had a tomato plant on it that had a lot of fruit on it still, and I was concerned about perhaps it wouldn't survive the pulling it out and cleaning it and so on. But it did. It was fine. So that was a surprise, pleasant surprise.
And I would have to say that I clean my tower garden once a year. I don't actually put my tower garden outside in the summer. I have a sunroom just through the doors. It's not heated So it can only go in there when it's warm, but it gets fairly warm in there in the summer. But so usually from in the house to in there, I'll put it in the bathtub, scrub everything, start plants
What you just
over.
said
I
about
have never
pyramid
tried.
scheme and aliens, I meant to text that to Christina. I texted it to Vicky.
Good try. Sorry, there we go.
We have a question about
Maybe.
trouble with fungus and gnats. Anyone want to answer that?
I can answer a bit here. So fungus can still occur because fungus likes areas that are moist and warm, which is kind of our houses. But if you have a fan on it or you have lots of airflow going through, the likelihood will be less of having any fungus there. And then pests can still happen if you are outside and you get a bunch of aphids in your hair or something and you bring it inside, you can still transport them in. But because we're using a tonic and the plants are very nutriently dense and they're getting everything that they need, they are much stronger than if they're outside, and they're better off to fight the pests than if they were growing outside.
I brought some plants in from my greenhouse in the fall. I grow a vegetable garden and I have a big greenhouse outside. Any of the plants that I brought in, I kind of put them in an area to contain them to see if there were any bugs. But one plant, of course, came in with bugs, and the tower garden hasn't seen any damage of that yet. And I'm organically spraying the plant that I have, and little spider mites, so they won't really bother, but they haven't bothered my tower garden at all, and I seem to be getting them controlled. So about the water, I have to say I'm on a farm, so we have well water. We have a lot of calcium in our water. It's really soft water. I started the tower garden with it, and my pH is, and I'm the pH checker, but that Barb referred to. My pH was always really high. So I started actually getting water from my sister who lives in town. Just regular town water. It has some chlorine in it. It dissipates as it sits. And the growth has been incredible compared to my water, bottom of my tank. So unless your water from your well is good, you can use it, but otherwise go for a different source.
Question about problem with gnats as a common one. I've never had them. I don't think they're that common. All right, any more last questions?
I see from Glorianne that they're getting a lot of calcium buildup on the outside of the tower. Anyone know what causes it?
Yeah, and perhaps your plants are too young for the amount of nutrients you're putting in. You can do smaller amounts if your plants are younger. That would be the only thing I can think of. You can grow 155 different types of plants, herbs, flowers, basically everything we showed you. You can grow radish, but radish grows a little bit differently. You could try growing carrots, but they look really weird. So the rule kind of is no root vegetables, but everything else minus trees is possible.
I'm excited to try eggplant. I bought some eggplant seeds, cantaloupe. What other seeds did I buy? Yellow radish. So yeah, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I've grown black beans. Those work. I don't have any pets, but I see a lot on the tower Facebook group where cats and dogs are eating the plants. Well, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. And if you have any more questions, you can just contact the person who invited you and we will find an answer for you. So thank you everybody so much.